that music probably means it's time for Your Daily Scrum. What do you think, Mr. Miller?
Probably.
Well, we're going to continue our series on the Agile Manifesto and how it relates back to Scrum and Scrum teams and Scrum practices. We've gotten a lot of good comments and notes about that. So, hey, we may as well keep it going. But first, community.agileforhumans.com. If you're not in there, where are you? Hundreds of listeners and fellow and past students and fellow Agilists and Scrum practitioners are there talking about a ton of great topics. Todd and I go live there every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
You want to check this out. It's free. Check it out. community.agileforhumans.com. Join us over there. Todd, today we have the 8th principle. Agile processes promote sustainable development. The sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts?
So, there's been quite a bit of data supporting the fact that with overtime, so here in the US, 40-hour work weeks, but with overtime exceeding 40 hours a week, that there might be a short-term gain in what happens and output, let's say, but it's not long-term sustainable. It's a short-term gain, but it's not sustainable, right? So over time, quality suffers, the ability to deliver suffers. And so this, to me, addresses the fact that working smarter is better than working harder. I always, do you ever hear that?
Oh, yeah. This principle 8 reminds me of the old death march. Mm-hmm. A deadline's coming, and so we're working late nights, we're working weekends. My wife is mad at me. The kids haven't seen me. Maybe back when I was doing death marches, it might have been my fiance was mad at me. Mm-hmm. And no kids around yet, but it's been a while. But it's one of those where you're stressed out, you're burned out, you're tired of going to work, you're tired physically, you're exhausted mentally, you're adding more problems than you're actually solving into your code base or your product. And after it's all said and done, and let's pretend you did ship, traditionally, and I'm not saying this is every product or project, but some of them would have months and months of cleanup because of all the cut corners and nonsense, and ability to innovate suffered, time to market suffered. Our current values stunk. Our customers were upset. Unrealized value was a pipe dream. We were never going to hit new markets. It was just a mess. Mm-hmm. And so there was a lot of cleanup, a lot of damage to repair. People needed to, and by the way, we all lollygagged for a while because even though we were working a ton of overtime, we got that time back through, I'm sick. I need to leave for this half day, makeup time. And so the rest of your sprints or the rest of your product time is just wrecked. It's like this tidal wave of nonsense that it leaves behind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a shame. I don't know why we get ourselves into this mess. But I can vividly remember like sitting with my hands on my keys, slouched, looking at the computer screen, like not even knowing what I was thinking about, like literally thinking about nothing. And, the first 10 years of my career, I've had moments like that, especially if you're a coder, it's so rhythmic, you're like super, super on, or like, you're just kind of like,
but then what happens when, Todd, you don't sleep well, or you're working 14-hour days, like,
or you have a baby that's keeping you up at night. These factors, stress.
I become the worst version of myself. I'm tired. I'm like, it's like you need Todd time. I need Ryan time. And some of my worst moments of my career came during these times when we were working like this. Like I would just yell at people. Project manager would come over, is it done yet? And I would just get up and blow up. I've been here 14 days straight. We're doing 14-hour days. My wife is ready to, and and you see those blow ups and you see like all this mess. And so I think it's great that the manifesto authors sat down and said, look, agile processes promote sustainable pace, right? We want the sponsors, right? The people paying the bills, the customers, the business people, the VPs, the developers, right? People doing the work, and all the people on the Scrum team, if we're relating it back to Scrum, and our users to work at a pace that they could work at without having to catch their breath, right? Without having to be exhausted. Like if you're walking on a treadmill, you can do that for almost indefinitely. and still talk. And in fact, some of these videos, I may or may not be walking on a treadmill. Who knows? But it's one of those where you're just able to do it and it's not taxing, but you're incrementally getting great things done, and you're doing it at a pace that everyone can keep up with. Right?
Yeah, and I think that I think it's really important for us to remember the impact of this on morale, right? The impact of this on our mental health, on not just the product side of it, but also the people side of it. But they really are correlated. And so, as you can see, Ginger flailing around like curtains in the back. If you saw that, just semi-distracted me.
No, it's good. I mean, let's be honest. In this type of job market today, it's mid-January 2022. You can leave your job today and get a $10,000 raise somewhere else, dollar raise tomorrow. Like it's and so if you're treating people like this, they're gonna leave. And like we said at the beginning, you're probably creating more bugs than you are solving problems. Like it's just
smarter, not harder.
There you go. Smarter, not harder. I like it. All right, Todd, end screen time.
Let's do it.
Be sure to like and subscribe. Never miss one of our videos. You don't want to miss a video. Check out community.agileforhumans.com. It is the place to be. A lot of great content, a lot of great people there. Check out the socials. We post to LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook every now and then. Still figuring out the Instagram. Some videos are going to pop up. Check those out. The YouTube algorithm thinks you'll like them. We do too. Check out the description below. Take a class with Todd and I. It's a link to the community, a link to our book. We think you'll like those things too. For Todd Miller, I'm Ryan Ripley. Go forward, do some great things at a sustainable pace, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you.